First is introduction. We will discuss about the project's overview, objectives, and task delegation of each group member. First is overview. The goal of this project is to create a simple wired and wireless network for two departments of Maxis Communications, which are Administration Department and Marketing Department. In order to develop a network that meets requirements specified, we pull all our knowledge about data communications and networking. We will be using Packet Tracer, a simulation tool that will help us in creating networks within these two departments. Through this project, using Packet Tracer will help us to learn how to use command prompt, how to share files between PCs, how to check connections and IP addresses. Thus, for this network which connect PCs or divisions within this company, we employ two local area networks. In creating this network, we use one server, one router, two switches, and one access point. Towards the end of this project, we were able to use Packet Tracer to build a basic network, and as a result, we had a better understanding of networking and data communications, which gave us more confidence and helped us completely grasp the topic. Next is objective. This project, which involves creating a simple network, have several objectives upon achieving this project's goal. First is to set up a simple network using simulation tools, which is Packet Tracer. Second is to share files between PCs in a network using command prompt. Third is to check a connection between devices in a network using command prompt. Fourth is to check the IP address of devices that are connected to the network using command prompt. Next is to view a list of stations that are connected in a network using command prompt. And lastly, to send message between devices in the network. Next is task delegation of each group member. For Alice Erdina, my task is to explain the project's introduction, overview, objectives, and task delegation of each group member, and explain the conclusion that is gained by the end of the project. For Anissa Maisara, her task is to explain a detailed discussion about data communications and networking by stating the technology involved. For Nurdaliza, her task is to explain how to set up a simple network using simulation tools, using Packet Tracer, and explain how to check a connection between devices in a network using command prompt. For Miu Imran, his task is to explain how to view a list of stations that connected in a network using command prompt, and explain how to send message between devices in the network. And lastly, Muhammad Faisal Ashraf, his task is to explain how to share files between PCs in the network using command prompt, and explain how to check IP addresses of devices that are connected to the network using command prompt.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Anissa Maisara binti Ahmad Nasaruddin. I will be explaining about the analysis for our project, which will cover the technology used, network topology, and also the connections. Okay, so let's start with technology used. So for our network, we have decided to use one router, two switches, one server, and one access point. So I will be explaining a little bit about how the technology we use works. So let's start with the router. It is used to send data packets according to its IP address, and it also manages traffic by sending data packets to their destination. Most router connects to local area networks, LANs, or wide area networks, WANs, and it is used to connect two or more networks. The next one is switches. A switch connects to devices within a network. It is an Ethernet-based local area network and is capable of sharing information within devices that is connected to the switch. The third one is server. It is used to accept and answer requests that is sent over a network, and the main purpose is to receive, store, and send data over a network, and it provides data, services, and information for other devices. And lastly, access point. An access point creates a wireless LAN in a building or an office, and this access point connects to a wired router a switch or a hub using an Ethernet cable and provides a Wi-Fi connection. For our network, the access point is connected to the second switch, which will be explained later on the next slide. Next is network topology. For our network, we have decided to use the star topology where all of the devices have its own point-to-point link to the hub, which is also known as the central controller for the network. And we decided to use the router as the hub for our network. And the reason why we chose this topology is because the first one, it is easy to install and reconfigure. And if one of the link in the network fails, the other links that is connected to the router, to the switches, are not affected. And lastly, any problems that occur in the network will be much more easier to be detected. So below are the picture on how our network looks like. On the left we have the physical topology, and on the right is the logical topology. And we can see that the hub is the router that is connected to two switches and one server. And the first switch, which is also the first LAN, is connected to 4 PCs, and the second switch is connected to 2 PCs and an access point that will be connected wirelessly to 3 devices. So let's move on to the next slide. Next is connection. We will be using both wired and wireless connection for this network. The first one is wired connection. It uses cables to form a connection to the internet and other devices on the network. The reason why we use a wired connection is because it is reliable and stable, meaning that the signal will not be influenced by other connections. Next, it is also less expensive to install since most cables like coaxial cables, twisted pair cables are quite affordable. The second one is wireless connection. It uses high frequency radio or microwave signals to communicate. And wirelessly enabled device makes it able to connect to the internet and other devices without using an Ethernet cable. And it is also much more easier and faster to install since it uses less equipments and cables, and also provides mobility since there are no cables involved. And lastly, cabling. We will be using a straight-through copper cable, which is one of the most widely used network cable and normally used to connect non-similar devices, for example, from the router to a server, from the router to switches, from the switch to other devices. And for this network, all of the connection uses this cable except from the access point to the other devices since it uses wireless connections.
Hello everyone, my name is Nurda Elizabeth Darismai, and I'm going to present about how are we setting up our simple network on stimulation tool packet tracer. First of all, you have to open the packet tracer. Secondly, set up the connection. Now I'm going to show you how our network looks like. In our network also consists server and one router to connect these two switches. Next step is assigning IP address on each device. Click on the laptop 0. Go to the desktop and IP configuration, make sure it is in the static. Now we have to assign the different IP address 83.101.1 and click on the subname and default gateway 83.101.1.10. Then click X. Now do the same step on these three devices. So here is the table that you can refer to assign at another devices. Now we are going to set up our server. Click on the server, then go to the desktop tab and don't forget to click on the IP configuration. In this section, you have to assign our own IP address. For example, 50.1.1.1, and just click on the sublimos and don't forget to enter its default gateway 50.1.1.10. Click X and go to the service. Now click on the FTP. You have to enter the username. We just enter admin in the caps lock. Admin and password 1234. Tick all of this checkbox. Then put a tag on our network. Let's put a tag first. Go to tagging and put it here. Now we are going to put our default gateway that we already assigned. Now click on the router. Okay, now click on the config tab, and as you can see here, this router consists 3 ports. If you remember, we already assigned Gigabyte Ethernet 00 at switch 1. For Gigabit Ethernet 01, we already assigned to the server, and for the Gigabit Ethernet 02, we already assigned at the switch 2. Now we are going to put the default gateway in each part of the router. Now for the Gigabit Ethernet 0/0 is 192.168.1.10. This is default gateway for LAN 1. And just click on the subnet mask and don't forget to click on. Then go to the Gigabit Ethernet 0/1. Then enter the server default gateway, which is 50.1.1.0. Just click on subnet mask and don't forget to click on. Then go to the Gigabit Ethernet 0/2. Then enter the default gateway for the local area network 2, which is 83.101.1.10. Then just click on subnet mask and don't forget this part, which is on. Then click. We're not done yet. Don't forget we have wireless connection in our network. To connect all of these 3 devices, we have to set our access point first. What we have to do is click on the access point, go to the config tab and click on the port 1. In this part, you have to assign your own SSID. We just enter cover and click on WPA2PSK as its authentication and create your own passphrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now make sure you already click on the port status. Then click yes. Now done on our access point. Next part is setting up the tablet. Click on the tablet, go to the config tab and click at the wireless. At this part, you have to enter the same SSID. Same goes to access point, which is Clover. Then click on the WPA2PSK and click or enter the same PSK passphrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then click X. Do the same step on the tablet PC 1. As you can see, there is a connection between access point and tablet PC 0 after you assign the same SSID and same bus phrase. Now we're going to set up our laptop. Click on the laptop, go to the physical. First of all, we have to turn off the button, drag out, then replace with the WPC 300 in it. Don't forget to turn on the button. Now go to the desktop tab, go to the PC wireless. At this part, you have to click on the connect. then click on refresh until you see the same SSID we created, which is Clover. You click on it, don't forget to connect. Here is the key or WPA2PS key that we already created, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then click on connect. Now we are done setting up our wireless connection.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Faisal, and now I will demonstrate how to share file between PC and network using command prompt. Okay, for the first thing we need to do is we need to assign the IP address of the PC and the server as in 3.1, and then we need to assign the username and password of the server, the FTP of the server. Okay, next we need to go to the desktop on the L1 PC1 and go to text editor and then type anything and then save the file as 123.txt. okay, and the file has been saved. So next we go to the command prompt, and first thing first we ping the server so that we just to make sure that the server is working. Okay, then we wait a second. For the first time, the first one will be timeout. When we type for the second one, it will not show the request is timeout. Okay, so next we put FTP and the IP address of the server, and then we need to log in on the server. So we put our username and password, which is admin and 12345. Okay, and then it shows that we have been logged in. Okay, for next we need to put the command put 123.txt, the file that have been saved earlier, and then we press enter, and then it will transfer the file. Okay, to check if the file has been transferred, we put the command dir to search the directory and to make sure that the file has been transferred. That is the file. And that is how to share the file between network.
In the 3.3 section, we are going to teach and discuss about how we are going to check the connection between devices in a network in the command prompt. We're back to the packet tracer. Now we are going to check the connection between two devices in the LAN 1 first. Now let's click on the L1 PC1, go to the desktop tab, and click on the command prompt. Okay, now we are going to test it with another device in the same local area network. So we are going to pick L1 PC3. Now we are going to write the syntax ping and enter its IP address, which is 192.168.1.3. Now click enter. We have to wait until the result is up. So as you can see here, connection between L1 PC1 and L1 PC3 is connected successfully. Let's check it on in line 2. I'm going to pick L2 tablet 2. So click on this tablet, ing, then enter its IP address 83.101. The connection between L2 PC2 and L2 tablet 2 is connected successfully. Now we are going to check the connection between the devices between two local area networks. We're going to choose L1 PC1 and L2 laptop 1. So we are going to click on this device, make sure it is in desktop tab, and click on the command prompt. Then write the same syntax and enter the L2 laptop 1 IP address. Let's say in the screen, ping 83.101.1.1. Then click enter. L1 PC1 and L2 laptop 1 is connected successfully.
Alright, now I will demonstrate on how to check the IP address of device that connect network using command prompt. Okay, first we check the wired one. We'll go to L1 and PC1. and then we choose the desktop and then command prompt, and then we type the command ipconfig. We show the IP address on the other. Next we type ARP A. If there no ARP entries are found, then we ping the server. We ping the server, and then the reply will come, and next we enter the command again, and the command will be, and the internet address and the physical address will be shown. This is the same for the wireless one. This is the wireless one, L2, and laptop one. We go to desktop, command prompt, we put the command ipconfig, and next we ping first, so that we can put the command ARP next, and next we put the command ARP -A. Then we got the internet address and physical address, and that is how to check the IP address or the device that are connected to the network using command prompt.
Hi, my name is Mia Alimran, and I will show how to view a list of stations that connected in a network using command prompt. First thing first, click a router in the network, then click command line interface. Next, hit enter, then type enable next to the router. Type show IP route next to the router hashtag after press enter. The show IP route command will display the entries of the routing table and the means by which they are determined. From the table, we can determine the protocol that derive the route, type of route, and address of the remote network. Next is how to send message between devices in the network. First, to send message between two devices, click Add Simple Video icon. Click the simulation button to see the message sent to the receiver. And then click the first PC, so it will be the source of the ping, and click other devices to become the destination. Click play button to send the message at the simulation panel. Then, at the simulation panel, it will show how the message is sent. After the process have ended, we can see the message is successful to send or fails on the panel below.
Lastly is conclusion. At the end of this project, we were able to learn how to create wired and wireless network that can connect between two different departments using packet tracer. We also gain more additional information on how the internet works and connect while doing research on how to create a network using the simulation tools. While working on this project, our knowledge of networking and data communications improved, giving us more self-assurance and assisting us in fully comprehending the subject. For instance, we were able to gain more knowledge about the functions of devices that we use to create a network, which are server, router, switch, and access point. There are advantages and disadvantages in working in a group. However, we were able to solve it by listening to the problem and suggesting the best solution.